It's 6 a.m. on a Sunday. You're still sleeping. Your phone is on silent. Your kids are finally letting you rest. And somewhere in Phoenix, a woman named Lucia just found your blog post from 2 years ago. She's been searching how to budget as a single mom at 4 a.m. because she couldn't sleep from financial stress. Your article answered every question she had. She read the whole thing. Then she clicked on your free resource. She entered her mail and she subscribed. You woke up 2 hours later to find 3 new email subscribers. People who found content you created once, years ago. Now compare that to an Instagram post you spent 45 minutes on yesterday. The one that got 23 likes, the one that disappeared into the algorithm within 24 hours, the one that nobody will ever see again. One piece of content working while you're sleeping, the other dying before your coffee got cold. What if I told you that most Latinas building online businesses are stuck on a content hamster wheel that's exhausting them without building anything that lasts? Stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll understand the difference between attention content and trust content. You'll have a framework for building a content library that works while you rest. And I'm going to give you a tool that will help you discover in about 15 minutes that you probably already have content that could be working for you for years. You just don't know it yet. Plus, I'm going to tell you about the conversation with my husband that completely changed how I think about content and stopped me from building sandcastles forever. Let's go. Welcome to Freedom to Follow. I'm Salime, your behind-the-scenes mentor for digital businesses that fund your obedience to Christ. If this is your first time here, I help faith-driven Latinas build digital businesses that create income without sacrificing family or burning out. I've been doing this for over 20 years across 3 continents. Stick with me and you'll see why. Everything we talk about comes with a practical exercise waiting for you at www.latinpreneurs.com/the vault. If you're one of my regulars, welcome back. You already know what we're about, so let's get into it. Okay, hermana, let me paint you a picture. It's Sunday night, you're exhausted from the week. Your kids are finally asleep, you have maybe 40 minutes before you go to sleep. And what are you doing? You're staring at Instagram, trying to think of something clever to post tomorrow. Maybe you're searching trending audios on TikTok. Maybe you're trying to figure out what hashtags to use. You're posting something. Maybe you spend an hour on it. A good caption, a nice photo. You hit publish. Monday morning, you wake up and you check 34 likes, a couple of comments from your mom and your best friend. By Tuesday afternoon, that post is buried. Nobody's seeing it anymore. The algorithm has moved on. Your hour of work has evaporated. So what do? You start planning the next post, and the next, and the next. This is the content hamster wheel, hermana. And let me tell you, many ran in it for years. I remember a season when I was posting every single day. Stories, reels, carousels. I was showing up with excellence. I was doing everything the Instagram gurus told me to do. And you know what I had to show for it? Exhaustion, a growing resentment toward content creation, and a platform that felt like it would collapse if I took a week off. Because here's what nobody tells you. Most content is designed to disappear. Social media platforms are built on recency. They reward what's new, what's trending, what's happening right now. Yesterday's post is ancient history. Last week's reel might as well not exist. This is the design. The platforms need you creating constantly so they have fresh content to show users so they can sell more ads. You're building their business, not yours. Every hour you spend creating content that disappears in 24 hours is an hour you could have spent creating something that works for 24 months. But here's the part that really gets me. It's not that you're lazy. Again, you're Latina. You're very hardworking. We all know it. You're showing up. You're being consistent. You're creating valuable content. And the system is eating it all and asking for more. That's not a business. That's a treadmill. And nobody ever got anywhere running in one place. So here's a question I need you to sit with. How much of your content from last month is still working for you today? If Instagram or social media disappeared tomorrow, would anything you've created still be serving people? Or would all that work just vanish? Because, hermana, I'm not trying to discourage you, but I am trying to show you there is a different way. And I discovered it in the hard way. Let me tell you when everything changed for me. It was a few years ago. I was exhausted, like bone-tired exhausted. I had kept creating content constantly. Social posts every day, stories throughout the day, trying to keep up with the trends, trying to beat the algorithm. And I remember sitting on my couch one evening scrolling through my own feed and realizing something devastating. Almost nothing I had created in the past 6 months was still being seen by anyone. Months of work, hundreds of hours, and it had all just evaporated, gone, like it never existed. I felt like a failure. I felt like maybe I was just not cut for this. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I just needed to work harder, post more, try new social media strategies. That night, I was crying with my husband about it. And I said something that came out of nowhere. I didn't even know I was going to say it until I heard myself. I don't know if it has happened to you at all. I told him, I feel like I'm building sandcastles. Every day I build, and every day that tide washes them away, and I have to start over. And I'm just so tired. My husband, who does not have any social media platform, looked at me and said something so simple, it made me almost mad. He said, then stop building sandcastles. Build something the tide can't reach. I stared at him. And in that moment, something clicked. I had been so caught up in what everybody else was doing, in the gurus and the social media experts, and what they were teaching and what seemed to be working for other people, that I never stopped to ask one simple question. Is this actually building anything? The answer was no. All that work, all that content, all that exhaustion, and I had nothing to show for it. No library, no assets, nothing working while I rested. Just sandcastles washed away every single day. That night I made a decision. I was done building sandcastles. I was going to build something the tide couldn't reach. And that's when I discovered the difference between content that dies and content that works forever. Here's the thing, hermana. This is not just a business strategy. This is biblical wisdom about stewardship and patience. See, Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. See, it says little by little, not all at once, not viral explosions followed by silence. It's steadfast, faithful gathering. Does this sound familiar? Post goes up, engagement spikes, then it dwindles. Post again, spike, dwindle. It's almost a pattern of hasty gain. And scripture says it will always dwindle. But here's something beautiful. Jesus taught in parables. And how many times did he tell the parable of the sower? Once. How many times did he tell the people the parable of the prodigal son? Once. He created those stories one time, and they've been teaching people for over 2,000 years. Jesus didn't get on the social media hamster wheel. He didn't tell a new parable every day trying to keep his audience engaged. He created timeless content that addressed fundamental human questions. Jesus literally built a content library, not a content calendar. He created it once and let it work forever. What if you and I did the same? What if we stopped trying to feed the algorithm daily and started building a library of timeless resources that serve people whenever they are searching? That's faithful stewardship. That's gathering little by little. That's building on rock and not on sand. After that conversation with my husband, I started studying what actually works, what builds something lasting versus what just disappears. And I discovered a framework that changed everything. I called it the difference between attention content and trust content. This distinction will be fundamental and it will shift how you think about every piece of content you create. Let's talk about attention content. This is content designed to get noticed right now. It's optimized for the moment. It plays to trends using trending audio, references of current events. Here's the truth about attention content. It has a short shelf life. 24, 70 hours max? It depends entirely on the algorithm to show it to people. It requires constant creation just to maintain presence. It disappears once the trend passes. You're competing with millions of others' posts. Success is measured in likes and views. Those are, in my opinion, vanity metrics. Now there's trust content. This is content designed to be found whenever someone needs it. It's optimized for timelessness. It answers questions people will be asking next year and 5 years from now. Here's what makes trust content different. It has a long shelf life, years, not hours. It gets found through search, Google, YouTube, Pinterest, podcast apps. It requires less frequency because each piece keeps working. It becomes more valuable as your library grows. You're helping people who are actively looking for solutions. Success is measured in subscribers and sales, real metrics. Now here's the thing, both types of content have a place. I'm not telling you go and delete social media. I use social media. I try my best and it's useful for staying connected, for building relationships, for showing your personality. But the ratio actually matters. Most women I meet are creating 95% attention content and 5% trust content. They're spending almost all their energy on things that disappear. I want you to flip that ratio. Spending the majority of your content energy on things that will work for years, and then using social media to drive people to those evergreen resources. That is what I do. That's why in my podcast, I am not telling you to follow me on Instagram. I am creating valuable content that will live on different platforms, and I'm telling you about the free resource that I'm putting out right now in the vault. So if you find me and tell your friend about me in 2 months and she listens to this exact episode, it will not only be helpful, but also she will most likely subscribe, give me her email, and I will be able to contact her and help her later when I produce other offers. But it's not just me that's doing this. It is what I teach in my coaching groups to my students. Let me tell you about Elena. Elena is one of the most talented women I know. She is a nutritionist who helps busy moms meal plan for picky eaters. She's like brilliant. I wish I had met her 12, 13 years ago when my kids were those picky eaters. When I met her, she was posting on Instagram 3 times a day. Stories every few hours, responding to DMs constantly. She had built her following to 8,000 people. And she was making maybe $120 a month. Why? Because all of her content disappeared into the algorithm. She was spending 15 hours a week creating content that had a shelf life of about 18 hours. Meanwhile, she had never written a single blog post, never recorded a podcast episode, never created anything that could be found 6 months later by someone searching for help with picky eaters. Now, after we worked together, obviously, things changed. Instead of posting 3 Instagram Reels a day, she wrote 1 comprehensive blog post. The Complete Guide to Meal Planning for Picky Eaters, 47 strategies that actually work. It took her about 6 hours to write. It was literally the same time that she was spending on Instagram in 2 days. Now that was 18 months ago. That single blog post has been found by over 12,000 people through Google. People searching meal planning picky eaters or how to get my kid to eat vegetables at 2 in the morning when they're desperate for help. Of those 12,000 people, over 800 have subscribed to her email list from that one piece of content. Meanwhile, her Instagram posts for the same week are gone. Nobody remembers her. They generated maybe 200 likes combined and 0 email subscribers. 1 blog post outperformed months of Instagram content. That's the power of trust content. And then there's Reformadas. When we started Reformadas, we didn't have social media strategy. We didn't even have social media. We barely posted. What we did, we were having a commitment to creating comprehensive, timeless biblical resources. Biblical studies that would just be relevant in 10 years as they are today. Theological articles that answered questions women would always be asking. Books that addressed fundamental issues of faith and life. Today, over 1.8 million downloads. And not because we went viral. In 5 years, we've gone mildly viral, maybe 2 times. All this has happened because we built a library of trust content that people find and share and recommend to friends yesterday, today, and in the future. Someone discovers one resource, they love it, they share it with their Bible study group, and those women share it with other. Believe me, trust content travels by recommendation faster. Attention content travels by algorithm. Which one do you want to depend on? So I want to give you some numbers to think about. Say you spend 5 hours per week on content creation. That's 260 hours per year. So scenario A, all attention content. You create 260 Instagram posts with an average lifespan of 48 hours. By year end, none of these posts are working for you anymore. So the total working content you have is now 0. Scenario B, mostly trust content. You create 52 blog posts or podcast episodes, one every week. The average lifespan of that is 3 to 4 years. By the end of the year, you have 52 pieces of content that are working for you around the clock. Your total working content is 52 and growing every week. By year 3, scenario B has 156 pieces of evergreen content working while you sleep. Scenario A still has 0. That's the compounding effect of trust content. You understand this. So I want to give you the actual system I use. It's called the Evergreen Trust System, and it has 3 parts. The first part is about answering the questions they're already asking, and this is the foundation. Instead of guessing what content to create, you need to identify the exact questions your ideal client is typing into Google at 2 in the morning. How do you find these questions? Well, you ask your people directly. You send a survey, look at your DMs and what you're receiving, check comments on your posts because the questions that they are asking are already there. Now, once you have your list of questions, each one will become potential evergreen piece of content. Not what am I thinking about, but what are they searching for always? Now, part 2 is you create it once and you distribute it forever. Here's a mistake most Latinas make. They create content and share it once. One Instagram post announcing your new blog article, maybe a story, and then it's done. No, hermana, that content can be distributed over and over and over again. So let's just talk about one blog post, for example. One comprehensive blog post can become a podcast episode, 5 to 10 social media postings pulling the key quotes, an email to your list, Pinterest pins that drive traffic for years, a video if you want to take that route. And here's the key, you can share it again in 3 months and again in 6 months. New people follow you every day. They didn't see it the first time. Evergreen content can be distributed forever because it always stays relevant. And if you see, that's what I do. I tell you about my past episodes, hoping that if this is the first time that you hear it, you go and you see all the value that I am creating to try to serve you. Part 3, build a content library instead of a content calendar. Stop thinking about what to post this week. Start thinking about what resource your library is missing. A content calendar asks, what can I create Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? No. A content library asks, what questions do my people have that I have not answered yet? It is literally a mindset shift. You are building a permanent resource hub, not just filling slots on a schedule. Every piece you create needs to add to your library. Every piece you create needs to become a permanent asset. Over time, your library becomes so comprehensive that people can find answers to almost any question they have about your topic. They do not need to go elsewhere. You have become the trusted resource. That's how you build trust. Not through constant posting, but through consistent, comprehensive help that's always available. I want you to imagine something with me. It's 6 months from now. You wake up on a Saturday morning, you slept in, the kids are watching cartoons. You grab your coffee and you check your phone, and you're not anxious, you're just curious. You see 3 new email subscribers from a blog post that you wrote 4 months ago. You see a comment on a podcast episode from episode 8. Someone saying it changed how they think about rising. You see a DM from someone who found you through Pinterest and wants to know more about working with you. And all this happened while you were sleeping, while you were resting, while you were being present with your family. You didn't post yesterday, you didn't post the day before, and it really didn't matter because you have a library now. A library of 25, 30, maybe 50 pieces of evergreen content. Maybe they're just blogs, but they are working for you around the clock. You're not exhausted anymore. You're not resentful towards content creation. You actually enjoy it because it's not content creation for social media that disappears. You know that every piece you're creating is going into a library that will serve your people for years. You literally stopped building sandcastles. You build something that tide cannot reach. That's what's possible. Not someday, not when you have more followers, not when everything is perfect. 6 months from now, if you start today. Here's the thing most people hear an episode like this and think, oh, this sounds great. I should start creating evergreen content. And then they open Instagram and post another story that disappears by tomorrow. And it's not because they don't want change, but it's because they don't know where to start. Not to worry, because I created something specifically for this episode. It's called a content audit, and it is waiting for you for free right now in latinpreneurs.com in the vault when you subscribe. You are going to get the Evergreen Identifier, which is a simple checklist that helps you look back at content you already created and it identifies pieces that can still serve you. Most women discover that they already have 3 to 5 pieces of content that could be working for them right now. They just didn't know it. And the Evergreen Finder will help you find that. Then there's a question map, a fill-in-the-blank template for identifying the exact questions your ideal client has at 3 in the morning. So there's no more guessing when you create. There's the library gap analysis, which is a clear view of what's missing from your content library so you know exactly what to build next. And then there's a simple roadmap so you stop guessing and start building systematically. This is literally the exact process I used to build Reformadas to 1.8 million downloads, a little bit over today. That same framework that Elena used to turn one blog post into 800 email subscribers, and it is all free inside the vault in latinpreneurs.com/the vault. Because here's what I want you to understand. In about 15 minutes, you're going to discover that you probably already have content that could be working for you for years. There's hidden gems buried in your feed that answered timeless questions. Posts that got engagement not because of the algorithm, but because people genuinely were helped by that content. You just need to find them, identify them, and turn them into evergreen assets. And that's what the content audit does. So here's what I want you to do today. And again, not next week, not when you have more time. If you want to see results through what I teach, and I know you can get them, and I'm getting testimonies every single day about people getting help, people starting their digital business from scratch with zero money, like I started. I need you to go to latinpreneurs.com/the vault, subscribe or log in, download this content audit for free and do it today. Every piece of trust content you create starting today should be an asset that could be working for you 3 years from now. That compounding effect only works if you start today. So let's make this real simple. Step 1, go to latinpreneurs.com/the vault and subscribe. Step 2, download the content audit exercise. Step 3, 15 minutes. Do it today. It takes literally 15 minutes and it can change how you see your content forever. Now, most people won't. They'll close this podcast and post another Instagram story that dies by tomorrow. But again, you're not most people. That's why you're still listening and following and a subscriber in the vault. You're done building sandcastles. You're ready to build something that the tide can reach. One evergreen piece of content this week. That's your assignment. Start building your library. Email me when you do. hola@latinpreneurs.com. Tell me what you discovered in your content audit because I want to celebrate with you. This is Freedom to Follow by Latinpreneurs, and I'm Salime, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.